Hello, hope you're doing great. This is Maria Rajan, your friendly software developer. And in this video, we're going to talk about strings. As we already spoke about in a previous video, string is basically one of the data types that is available in Python. For example, I just have my Python interpreter open here, and like you can see, string is basically, this is a valid string, right? So here we are saying we can even put an exclamation mark. Like all these characters are valid as long as they are inside these quotes. All right. So this is a valid string. So you can create a string either by having double quotes or a single quote. All right. So the only thing that you need to keep in mind is if you're starting a string with a single quote, you can't end it with a double quote. It will say, there's a end of line. EOL stands for end of line error. So basically, like just keep that in mind. You can also have triple quotes. That's also there. It's and usually this triple quote is used for like doc strings, as in when you want to document certain parts of your code. This triple quote is usually used there. Um, but otherwise, a double quote and single quote is commonly used. Where this double quote and single quote will come in handy is, like, say for example, you have this is Tom's car. Here this basically, like, the single quote is actually used as part of the sentence, right? This is Tom's car. So in this case, using a double quote to enclose the string makes more sense. Now you just need to be mindful that if you had started the string with a single quote, and like if you have something like this, or even if you put a quote at the end, a single quote at the end, so what the Python interpreter is going to understand is basically, see, so this is a single quote and you have used it to start a string, so these are all a series of characters. All right. So and then when it comes here this is a single quote, right? So since you had started the string with a single quote, Python interpreter is going to think that you have ended the string over here itself, and everything after that is going to be considered as ambiguous to Python, to the Python interpreter. As a matter of fact, if I press enter now, let's see what happens. You can see that it's saying that this is actually an invalid syntax, right? So just be mindful of that, and if at all, so in these cases it just makes sense to make use of a double quote and it just works. But if at all you want to, you are very particular of using single quote, you can always use the escape slash backslash. All right. So if you do this, this is also valid. All right. So these are certain things that you will need to keep in mind while you're constructing your strings. One thing that we have to keep in mind is everything in Python is an object. Object is basically anything that has properties and functionalities built into it. All right. So that is a object. Now when I say everything in Python is an object, it means that everything that you use in Python has properties and functionalities built into it. Let me show that to you. Like, so for example, all right, so this is a string, that we have, enter, yes, string. Now the thing is, there is this function called dir. All right, so it's basically lists out to us all the functionalities and properties that are available for that particular object, whichever you give inside this parenthesis. So here what we will do is we'll just say hello Tom. All right. So we know that Tom is an object. Hello Tom, which is a string, is an object. As a matter of fact, we already saw that earlier, right? So we said type of, when you say type of hello Tom, so here we can see that hello Tom, the type of it is basically, it's an object of the class string, str, which stands for string. So that means this by itself is an object. It's an object of the class str, string. All right. So that means what we can essentially do is we can say dir, all right, on that same string object. And if we do that, so you can see that these are all the different functionalities, different methods that are built into this string object. All right. So this is not just specific to this hello Tom. It's available for any string. All right, so as a matter of fact, like let me just give a different string. Let me just say Superman. All right, so if I say Superman now, you can see that it doesn't matter what I give as the string characters, as long as it is a string object. Like the methods, the functionalities that are built into that particular string object remains the same. So like you can do all these different cool things, you can, this is a cool thing, like upper, we can just make everything to become capitalized, and there's a lower, which using that function you can make everything lowercase, and I believe there's something called title, and as a fun exercise you can just go and try out all these different methods that are available with this string object. All right, so how do you even do that? Like, so let me give you a couple of examples. So hello Tom. Okay, so this is a string, we know that. Now by itself it's just hello Tom. Now if I press dot, see just what I am doing here. Like, see, it's a string. It's inside the double quotes. It's actually a string, but on top of that, I can use the functionalities that are built into the string object on this particular string. All right. So, for example, so this hello Tom, if I say lower, let me write everything in capital case. Okay, hello Tom. Okay. So if I say lower, all right, see, it just converted the all these characters which are in capital case to lowercase. All right, so in the same way, if you have everything in lower, for example, hello Tom, you can also convert it to upper by using this function which is built into the string object, and it did do that, right? So like all these different functions are really useful. For now, like, don't worry about these underscore methods. They are called dunder methods, and it's like basically, for now, just consider them as magic methods, right? Don't worry about them. Like, just keep experimenting with these are really useful functions that are available. You can like, even replace. That's another useful function. Let's try replace. Replace. All right, so how do you use replace? Python gives us another utility function, which is help. All right. Now, if I just do that without the parenthesis on the replace object, if I just do help for this particular method of the object string, it sees if there's any, if there are any documentation that is available, and if there is, it returns to us, as a helper, as a utility function, basically. So you can see that this replace method accepts like these three arguments, old and new. So this is a keyword argument. Don't worry about that for now. Just the old and new. Yes, and like, it even gives you a small description. Return a copy with all occurrences of a substring old replaced by new. See, that's what it does. It basically replaces the old character with a new character. All right, so let's just try it out now. All right, so I'm going to try replacing, you know let's say we have two O's, right? Let's replace the O's with Z. Why not? See what just happened. It just replaced the O's with Z. So like, these are all the there are even more, a lot of very interesting, useful functions that are available, which would be very useful for us to use, especially when we are doing a lot of these string manipulations and concatenations and so on. So these are really useful, actually. Extra string manipulations in Python is very handy, and it's very powerful, and really really useful when you're creating your applications. All right, super. So that's basically, like, some of the string manipulations that you could do with Python, and it's like really really powerful and useful. So yeah, like, hope you check this out and like, give it a go. So yeah, so hope this video was useful, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.